I'm just going to
dropping a
stop you.
motion.
So every time you say something's disingenuous, you are imputing the chair. That is fine. You're not crossing the line. My job is to oversee the government. This is an opposition-run committee. I will call a meeting when I think it is worthwhile. You don't like it, you can take actions. But to suggest that I'm being disingenuous by calling a meeting is out of bounds. Mr. Genuous, like all members, are entitled to bring forward any motion they like the day of the meeting that is relevant. He has done so. If you're implying we're in cahoots, you are wrong. I called this meeting on the information that I was received from Mr. McCauley on thousands of pages of documents. Referring back, you were right. The Auditor General said the exact same thing about that October 12th meeting. And guess what? Not only did this committee find out something that we did not previously know, that the OAG had been, withheld information to the OAG by the department about a police investigation. That was relevant. Number two, the OAG actually delayed the release of their report so they could go back and review documents. So this committee is doing its job by overseeing the government. It will continue to do so. So if you're going to keep calling my actions disingenuous for doing my job, I'm going to find you out of line. Back to you, Ms. Khalid. You're welcome to address the motion or my behavior, but do so directly without impugning my motives. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair, for your clarification, but I will respectfully say that it is not your job to hold the government to account. It is this committee's job. And the point that I was trying to make earlier is that we have been able to build consensus. We worked together on a motion, figured out the language. We have been finding ways, at least on our side, to build that consensus and to do the job of this committee. So what I'm trying to say here is, Chair, that neither was this meeting an emergency, nor is this motion an emergency, which we have seen in showing up in other committees, as Mr. Johns has pointed out. And what I am trying to say is that none of the members on our side, at least, were consulted on this at all, even though we have shown good faith time and time and time again to find ways to work together to do the job of this committee. No one member is a representative of this committee, Chair, and I respectfully submit that to you. So I would hope that going forward, we would continue to act in good faith of the consensus that we're trying to build here, of holding the governments to account and to ensure that we're not wasting public servants' times as they're trying to do their job, that we're not trying to interfere in the work of the OAG, et cetera. I will leave it there, Chair, but I hope that we can continue to find better ways to work together rather than having meetings that are completely unscheduled and unconsulted with all members of this committee. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you very much. Ms. Shanahan, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Chair. I would just like to say that we are here apparently to make a bit of publicity for a meeting that's going to happen eventually in this committee with the Auditor General. I believe that this is a waste of time. I believe it is also a waste of this committee's resources. Everybody knows this. Everybody would know that all members of parties, except for the Conservatives, had caucus meetings this week. There was no consultation whatsoever with anyone, apart from somebody else, and this is a waste of time.
Second, Ms. Shanahan. Yes, Mr. Johns, you have the floor.
I just want to, I think this will help Ms. Shanahan too. It's just a point of clarification that Mr. McDonald and Mr. Utano, and this is directly related to this motion, were not whistleblowers. They didn't report any misconduct. They didn't raise any alarms.
Mr. John, that's Mr. John. You're on. I'll get back to you. This is not. I appreciate Mr. Johns. Mr. Johns. I appreciate this is not a point of order, and you are down on the list again. I have on the speaking list Ms. Shanahan, Mr. Brock, Madame Sinclair-Desgagnés, Mr. Genuous, and then after that, Mr. Johns. You will have a chance to rebut this. Thank you, Ms. Shanahan. You have the floor again.
Thank you. I just, for the record, would like to say the following. I'm saying this also for my constituents. They expect the work that we do at public accounts to be good. They have so much respect for us and our work because We are a consensus-based committee. We've always been. Doesn't matter who the chair was, whether it's a conservative chair. I'm thinking here about Mr. Sorensen. I know there were other chairs. But at the end of the day, it was always a consensus-based. Now, however, we're seeing a more adversarial procedure underway. It's almost as if we're in a court of law. It's a waste of time. Everybody knows what the issue is. People think that we don't necessarily want to talk about this very important issue. That is false. This is an issue of crucial importance, and we will always work together to tackle such issues. We like working together with the committee and with the Auditor General.
Yes, Mr. McCauley, point of order, please.
Unless we voted on this and I missed it somehow, we are debating the motion. It'd be nice if someone actually got to actually debating the motion at hand.
No, well, fair enough. As you know, I allow for latitude, and members are expressing themselves. There's some irritation for having a meeting outside of the parliamentary calendar, and members are entitled to have that, to feel that way. I don't. So we're at work here, and I'll turn back to Ms. Shanahan. I think you were concluding, but maybe not. I'm certainly not pulling the mic, but back to you. But again, I'm just going to remind everyone, we have a nice speaking list. Mr. Genuous, you're on the speaking list.
Sure, I have
and
a point of order as well.
what is your point of order? And then we'll go back to Ms. Shanahan.
Chair, just to speed things up, I wonder if there would be, given what's being said, if there would be unanimous consent of the committee to proceed to a vote on this motion. We'd be ready to do that if there's unanimous consent.
Yeah.
What's a request for unanimous consent? Is there agreement?
No. Well, I can tell there's not agreement. So, Ms. Shanahan, back to you, please.
You can request you see on points of order, but it
But
seems,
Ms. Shanahan
it's
has
not
the floor.
forthcoming,
Ms. Shanahan, you have the floor, please.
Bien, merci beaucoup, parce que justement,
Thank you very much. I'm about to wrap up, indeed. I just wanted to make sure that everyone listening in at home understands that our committee is working on the ArriveCAN issue. We are working with the AG. This meeting is a sideshow. Everybody knows what's going on and what the Conservative Party is trying to do. I know that other people want to speak, and I look forward to listening to my Bloc Québécois colleague as well.
For that, avant ça, c'est Mr.
Before that, we have Mr. Brock.
Bloc member. So, Mr. Brock, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think it's important that we go back to the actual motion that was introduced probably 45 minutes ago. The committee report to the House its grave concern about apparent reprisals against witnesses following their testimony on the ArriveCAN app. That is the motion. And what we have heard from the Liberals and the NDP is anything but the importance and urgency of this particular matter. The House needs to have this matter before it so that all members, all parliamentarians, have a chance to speak to this. You know, Ms. Shanahan uses comments about urgency and how important this is, and we want to telegraph to Canadians that we're taking this serious. We take our job serious. But she forgets exactly what happened on October the 12th, when the Auditor General appeared, and after they were embarrassed, the entire Liberal bench embarrassed, as well as the NDP, that the Auditor General, you know, Ms. Shanahan, you can laugh all you want, but Canadians are watching me, and they're watching you laughing at me, and it's not a good look. You and your party and the NDP deliberately shut down the ability of the Auditor General to answer questions for a
Point of order,
2-hour
Chair.
period.
Yes, Ms.
I am
Shannon.
being spoken to directly, so I would like to
Very good. That's a-
respond to that.
That is a-
And there is no shutting down going on. We were proceeding with this work on Bonnet du Fort.
Thank you.
And Mr. Brock, that he doesn't